In the beginning, there was darkness, but God created light. As he spoke, the universe took shape, and it was perfect. He created a man and a woman in his own image and placed them in a garden to live in relationship with him. God gave the man and woman authority to rule in the garden with him, and they were free to enjoy everything in it, except for one tree. This was God's original design, and it was good. But an enemy lurked in the garden, a serpent who wanted to bring death and destruction to God's perfection. He convinced the man and woman to take from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, to pursue in the world what they already had in God. Sin entered the world, and God's original plan for creation fell. Shame separated man from God. Fear replaced freedom, but God loved his creation too much to leave it in the dark. He refused to turn his back on those who were made to bear his image and set a plan in motion, a promise to one day make all things right. God chose the people of Israel to be his treasured possession and witnesses on earth. He showered them with blessings, but instead they chose their own way. For thousands of years, they struggled to save themselves and uphold the law that was meant to guide them. They tried to build fortune and pursue fame. In desperation, they cried out to the God they had forgotten, only to quickly fall back to their own ways. Yet in the midst of their struggles, God never forgot them. He still allowed them to be part of his plan, the plan that led to his promise to make all things right, Jesus. And when the time was right, Jesus came, but he didn't come in the way we expected. He didn't come as a king or as a commander of an army. He showed up as a baby in a manger. God sent Jesus to fix what sin broke. He brought light to darkness. Both fully God and fully man, Jesus lived the perfect life we could not live. He was the love of God on display for all to see. He healed the sick, calmed the storms, brought the dead back to life, and so much more. Many loved Jesus and saw that he was special. Some even called him a king. But the rulers of the land wanted him dead. They made a plan to rid the world of Jesus once and for all. In a garden much like the first, Jesus was betrayed and arrested. He was taken to the rulers of the land, and it was decided that he should die. Jesus was beaten and spit on. Crowds of people who once celebrated Jesus now yelled, "Crucify!" as a crown of thorns was placed on his head, and soldiers nailed him to a cross. One man shouted, "If you are really the Son of God, save yourself!" But this was all part of God's plan. On the cross, Jesus took the penalty for our sin, the shame, the separation, the sickness that belonged to us was placed on him as he cried out, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." Jesus took his final breath and declared, "It is finished." Darkness fell across the land. The earth shook, and the curtain in the temple was torn in two, showing that nothing could separate us from God ever again. The body of our Savior was taken down from the cross and put in a tomb. The entrance was covered by a rock, so no one could get in or out. For 3 days, it appeared that Jesus was gone forever, but death could not hold him. An angel delivered the good news that Jesus was alive, that he had risen in victory over sin and death. What was once broken in the garden had now been restored. Because of Jesus, we get to bring heaven to earth and rule and reign with him now and forever. Because of Jesus, we have hope. Because of Jesus, we can see God's goodness, knowing that we have been forgiven because we are loved, and with him everything is possible. Because of Jesus, this is your story.